magic moment.
Now, this magic moment.
Three-point shot. Back in. The bank open.
Orlando rises.
Bain hoisting at the buzzer. He drills it.
Legends live.
It's a crack came down.
And the magic is real.
He's going to go for the win. Shot is up and he got it.
Strap in. It's showtime with RJ Saunders.
It is this magic moment right here on 1010XL Magic. RJ Saunders here with you. We appreciate you guys, as always, joining us here on the program. If you do have the time, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as we continue following the Orlando Magic in what looks to be an exciting season. I mean, much in large part because the PA announcer is returning for year 2 of the Orlando Magic season. He's also an individual who is painting the entire atmosphere down there at Kia Center. He's also a guy in which I told him before we hit record that he's a Lakers fan that has now been injected with the Orlando Magic fever. Kind of sounds like yours truly right here. But he's also an Ohio legend and has a great story that I have been enamored by, and just so great that he's going to share it with us here on this magic moment. He's none other than Mr. Jarryd Tribble. Mr. Tribble, thank you so much again, sir, for just giving us a couple of moments, man. How are you?
Man, that intro gave me goosebumps, man. I said it's a 10 out of 10, bro. 10 out of 10. Thank you, man.
Man,
you might come for my job, man. I'm kind of nervous now, man.
Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. When I tell you I appreciate just what you do, and I've been a fan just of yours from afar, just seeing what you've been able to do in year 1, and I know we'll deep dive into that as the conversation moves forward. I have nothing but respect for what you've been able to do just in your first year of Orlando Magic PA announcing, and what you've done kind of getting up to this point, man. So absolutely, I could not fill those shoes at all, man. You've been absolutely the GOAT, for this. But before we do get into just kind of your journey getting to this point of Orlando Magic basketball and being their PA announcer, man, just want to kind of start off with a little bit of icebreakers, man, just to get to know you a little bit better, and the people here on 1010XL Magic to get to know the man behind the Orlando Magic voice just a little bit better. So for me, we'll start with this, just very easy stuff. Favorite emoji to use and favorite GIF to use?
Favorite emoji? I think I got the crying emoji, man. As far as the laugh, the LOL, laugh out loud. That's my favorite, man. And my favorite GIF is the one that's like the clever one. I got this one, or I got beat you to it kind of GIF.
Absolutely.
But yeah, those are the ones. I mean, I'm always sliding emojis and kind of keeping that in there, especially with my kids, man. I love texting with them, and my daughter will send a whole no words, just all pictures. You know what I mean? I'm trying to kind of decipher all that. So definitely
man, I love that, man.
For sure.
Absolutely love that, man. Favorite movie or movies?
Man, that's a great question too. Favorite movie? I gotta go. I think Training Day is like. Okay. Training Day and Rush Hour are like probably my 2 favorites. And I say that because, man, I was actually like trying to clean out my little crawl space at the house. And my son is really getting into video games. So I actually brought out the PS3. Okay. And we doing throwbacks, man, and in that I'm like pulling up all these DVDs and CDs from back in the day and VHS tapes. And I literally had Training Day on. I know, right? I know.
Is he asking what is that?
Right. He's just like, man, what do you do with this? Like, where do you even put this? Man. Even the DVDs. I asked my wife, I'm like, what do I do with these? Like, all these movies are streaming now, and they're just like collecting dust. But like Training Day is one of those movies that like, once it comes on, I can't turn it off. You know what I mean? Like I'm super engaged, whether it comes on straight to TV or I'm throwing in the DVD or streaming it. And then same with Rush Hour. Like I still laugh like as if I haven't seen it. And I know what's gonna come up next. I know, he doing this thing back and forth, but I still laugh. So I think those are probably my top 2.
Now, I do know that faith in Christianity, big in the life of one Mr. Jarryd Tribble, as for me, myself, huge fan of gospel music. Want to know from you, because I don't think I really hear this question much with a lot of individuals. Do you have a favorite gospel artist or a gospel group?
Man, that's a great question. Man, you did your research, man. I love it, man. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, man.
You know what? I'm definitely like Marvin Sapp is probably one of my favorite artists.
Okay.
Never would have made it. So
I
I
loved
think
him. I loved him in Commission. See, that's me. I loved him when he was with Commission. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
that's what's up.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so Fred Hammond is another one like
Yep.
that. No weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Yep.
And I kind of like, and PJ Morton, who was another one. He's known for a
Ooh.
lot of his R&B, but he also does a lot of great gospel.
Yes, he does.
And I
Yes, he
think he was
does.
the man behind. I can't think of the song right now. It's off the top of my head. Um, oh, Let Go, Let God. I think he wrote that.
Yes. Yes, he wrote
Yeah,
it.
and I
Yes,
didn't
he
I
wrote
didn't
it.
realize that because so many people didn't perform it and things like that.
Yeah.
So those are some artists and that I listen to. I actually have like kind of converted a little bit more. I listen to more like more gospel now when I'm working
Yeah.
out or when I'm driving or riding. It just kind of fill me with what I need to kind of get through.
Yeah.
Kind of continue to stay just like appreciate my blessings,
Yeah.
acknowledge all the things that God has done for me in my life, and kind of fill me up with the right things and the right energy. So no,
Yeah.
those are definitely some amazing artists for sure.
Absolutely. PJ Morton actually did a gospel album not too long ago where he had different gospel artists singing songs in which he wrote commissions rendition of Over and Over, man. I will
Yeah.
recommend that one to you. That was a
For
great
sure.
one
That's
in
what's
which
up.
he did. For you, favorite song to play where nobody is judging you? Like, I mean, you're just belting it out and you're just singing it.
Man, I'm a big Brian McKnight fan, and I'm a
Okay.
hopeless romantic as well.
Yep.
So sometimes in the shower,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
we get too personal.
No,
We can
no,
pause.
no. Do you hear, man?
No, sometimes in the shower, I'll hit of have you ever crossed my
Oh
mind?
man.
Look, anytime,
Yep. Yep.
So I love R&B back in the day, and I love NPR too. So
Okay.
Tiny Desk. So they
Yep.
recently did one with Joe. So that took me back a little bit more. So
Yeah.
I kind of like
Yeah.
to love it, kind of.
Yep.
I want to knows, and all
Yep.
those like those hopeless romantic songs, those
Yep.
R&B classics. And another one, Weak. Oh my goodness,
Oh man.
SWV's Weak.
Yes.
That's another one where I'm like,
Yes.
I sound in my mind different than how I sound out loud, but if nobody's looking, if I know I got
Right.
the house to myself, or
Yep.
I'm in the shower, I don't expect no guests. Those are the ones where
Man, I ain't
I'm
mad
going
at
all the
you
way
at
in.
all, man. Ain't at all. Final
Trying to
one
hit all
for
the
you,
high
man.
notes.
It Final one for you. Just when it comes to these icebreakers, man. If I were to come to Ohio, Shaker Heights, to be more exact, what food place are you taking me to that you're like, you have not been to Shaker Heights if you have not gone here to eat?
You know what? Shaker Heights is weird and different in that way.
Okay.
Like we just started getting like this new plaza that had. I mean, I had some staples here, but like we got a plaza now where we don't have a lot of fast food around here. We had like one Wendy's in our area,
Wow.
and we just got like a Chipotle that was
Yeah.
like groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But there's this new place now that we have in our Van Aiken district called Brassica. And it's
Okay.
kind of a chain that's kind of very popular, but it's known for like kind of healthy foods and salads and things of that nature. Great fries. They actually like throw the fries away after a certain amount of time, so
Yeah.
nothing gets like soggy or nothing gets cold.
Right.
They don't believe in like cold stuff, so they just throw stuff away. Same with their falafels. They just throw it away. So anybody who's in the Shaker Heights area, I'm always go check out Brassica. They got great salads. They got like these pita sandwiches. I mean, I might go to Brassica right now while I'm talking about it.
No,
But
man, I
that Van
absolutely
Aiken
love
district
that.
in Shaker Heights has so many great foods and so many great things. So it's kind of like something new that's probably maybe 2 or 3 years old now.
Yeah.
But they've got so many different they got something for everybody. So when we go as a family, like my kids will go one place, my wife will go someplace, me,
Yeah.
I'll go someplace, and it kind of has a little bit of everything.
Absolutely, man. Nah, we'll do some more, lightning rounds, getting to know you better towards the end of our conversation, man. But really, just as I said, at the beginning and the top of this whole entire, process, I'm really just enamored by your entire story and just very excited to get into it. But I mean, kind of let's start at the beginning. I mean, you're from the Cleveland, Ohio area, Shaker Heights to be more exact. Just what was kind of early life for one Mr. Jarryd Tribble kind of growing up in that area that's, a small city. I would like to feel just maybe a place where everyone knows everyone, kind of a lot like me where I grew up back in California, where it was this very small city, but people knew, everyone, parents knew everyone else's kids and things like that. Was it kind of the same thing growing up there in Shaker Heights?
Yeah, well, Shaker Heights is known for being very diverse. So you got people from all different backgrounds, and it's a small city, but it's probably one of the bigger suburbs in the Cleveland area. I was in a situation where going to school, like when you know a lot of the same people and you kind of grew up together. It's a really pretty big school. Maybe 1,300 students. But honestly, man, we had a really good community feel where I grew up. I'm so thankful for my mom and my dad, man, because they had a vision for something bigger and better, and they stayed within their means. Like they had big dreams and big goals, but they always kind of like fought through, stayed together, had a vision for a better life for me and my sister. And there were some moments in life where they were like, not now, and I learned that lesson as I've gotten older now, like when they wanted to upgrade the house or when they wanted to get different cars, and they kind of said, no, not right now, just so we can make sure that me and my sister could have what we needed and have the great experiences that we had. My mom was an educator, which is like a gift and a curse. You know what I mean? Because like you can't get away with too much when you got a teacher or you got a mother who's like in education. So it's kind of like she was that mom who, like she told my teachers that she wanted me to have my books be sent home. So I had a home copy and I had the other copies that they gave us in school. And I was like, you couldn't get away with anything. Or when I wanted to just do, in math, they'd say just do the evens. She was like, no. Do the evens and the odds because you got to get better. You got to put in that work. You got to put in that time. She wouldn't let me use a calculator.
No, man.
She wouldn't let me use a calculator because she said, you got to be able to work these problems out, show your work, get those facts strong. And in school, I struggled with. I was dyslexic, so I struggled academically with my reading. So it's kind of funny how God kind of puts you in different situations to help shape you for who you need to be and become. But it was that love from my mom and my dad who supported me, and they pushed me and they encouraged me, and they encouraged me to keep dreaming. There was no dream or anything that I had a vision for or wanted. My mom teases me all the time. She said, "You got a champagne taste with a beer budget."
Yep.
But she always encouraged me and supported me and pushed me. So anytime I wanted to do something or pursue something, she was always pouring into me. Same with my dad too. My dad was always there for me, supporting me. He was my basketball coach young in life. He was a legend here in Cleveland. So anywhere you go, everybody knows him. Everybody's talking about him. Everybody, my last name carries a little weight in Cleveland. So they, you James Tribble's son. You a Tribble, So I had to deal with that. And so, but now I'm kind of like, I'm branching out to my own and making my own name. And I had a phenomenal sister too, who was like, always felt like she can do no wrong. She was always super smart and always working hard in school. And, she's 5 years older than me, but we were always really close and really connected. So always inspired me to do better. So just growing up in Cleveland, man, it was just a great place to be. Shaker Heights is a great city for family. And again, it helped kind of shape and mold me to who I am today. Had some great teachers, great individuals who kind of continue to pour in me. Like I said, having those academic challenges, it kind of also inspired me to become a teacher too, because like when I got the bug from my mom, who I saw her and how she impacted so many different kids. And she's also a basketball coach as well. But when I had a teacher who just like poured into me and wouldn't let me quit. They wouldn't let me. They always reminded me of my goals. When those teachers would have you beginning of the school year, write out what you want to do, who you want to be, and what your goals are. And the days that I started slipping, I had teachers in Shaker who really like just poured into me, believed in me when I didn't have confidence, put me in situations where I can showcase what I can do, and kind of helped me be comfortable being uncomfortable. And again, it helped shape me for who I am today.
No, absolutely, and that was an incredible thing. As I was doing my research and even looking at your LinkedIn, where you had talked about, in a throwback video that you did, where you were talking to, just individuals about how, your parents were able to tell your story and your teachers were able to tell your story where the standardized tests couldn't. And I thought that was, just a huge thing, to say with you growing up and, having to go through the dyslexia and fighting through that, but also having, those individuals be able to pour into to you. Thought that was just a major blessing in and of itself. And you talk about, being an educator. I believe if my research was correct, that you also helped work with kids that were in special education and helping them out as well because of your story. And I just wanted to know, from you, just how important to you was it to pay it forward, as you saw, your parents and your teachers pay it forward when you were going through, dyslexia, to now say, as I grow and as I mature and as I get into education, I want to be able to do that for kids who are in my shoes or who were in my shoes not too long ago.
Man, and that honestly, that's you hit it right there, man. Like when I was in those classes, there wasn't very many African American males, if any, who were in special education classes. But at that time, it was it's a classroom predominantly with African American males in the class. So we didn't necessarily have access to, those different teachers that we all liked. So I had a teacher by the name of Mr. Hutch. He taught me at a young age, he always had be the best, be the what, be the best. So everybody kind of responded to him in that way. But I couldn't have him as a teacher, and it bothered me. So he was that cool teacher that everybody wanted, and it was just like, man, I couldn't have it. Or, just in general, there's not a lot of black males in education. And so for me, it was like, I saw a bunch of kids, even the kids that even the peers that I had. I mean, we all went different directions, you know what I mean? And I saw firsthand what it's like when somebody just truly believes in you, when somebody holds you accountable, when somebody has high expectations for you, when you may have a low test score, or you may not have done well in this past quiz or this past test, but somebody sees something in you and continues to remind you of what you want to be, who you can become. And I wanted to be that testament for those kids. So when a kid says, man, it's too hard, I can say, you know what? I know exactly what you're going through. I know what it feels like to be, feel like you can't read in front of people, or people talk over you when you're, doing different things, or feeling distracted, or feeling frustrated, or feel like the teacher's going too fast. So that level of connection I had made me feel like a better educator, and I feel like a better advocate, because, I got some teachers who may not think, that a kid will be able to pass this test, or a kid will be able to do this, or, reach these different goals and objectives. And it's like, I know if you give them enough love, enough support, enough care, you build that bridge with their teachers, you build and their parents, like that. There's no cap to what that kid can do and overcome. So it's definitely important for me to just continue to share that journey. Even like I said, I don't hide it from anybody. Like I was dyslexic. I struggled with my reading. I struggled with confidence. I struggled in school, and sometimes I feel like teachers forget like what it feels like to be learning something in the beginning. Or even when I'm like right now, I'm actually learning Spanish. I'm trying to teach myself Spanish using Duolingo. And it's so frustrating, man. The moment I think I got it, it's like, oh, man.
Right.
But it's like, what? I'm going to stay with it. I'm going to stay consistent with it. I'm going to get persistent because, again, as I continue to get, better and get more opportunities, I want that to be something else that I can use another language as I'm announcing. Yeah. It kind of gives me a broader range of people that I can connect with, or even the situation where possibly moving, coming down to Florida, like people speak a lot of Spanish there. So I want to be able to communicate and connect with different people. And so it's important to me to continue to kind of push that moving forward.
Nah, absolutely. That means a lot to me. And I hope that, whoever is listening to this, it means a lot to them as well, to be able to have an individual and individuals who have been such advocates, for those who are, in special education and do need that extra help, and also need people who have been, in their shoes once upon a time and have been able to fight and overcome that. And I know hearing, testimonies such as that, it can only help them. And that just means the world. But even though, for you, you had, talked about, being an educator for as long as you were, you also, bring up the fact that you just had this itch, to be an announcer. And that's something in which you really wanted to do. I wanted to know, for me, growing up, in the Los Angeles area, Lawrence Tanter was, the voice for, the Los Angeles Lakers in terms of PA, and that
Los Angeles Lakers.
Absolutely, man. I'm gonna miss him, saying too many steps inside of the crypto.com arena, as he's taking a step back. But for you, growing up, who was Jarryd Tribble? Like, who was the guy in which you looked up to that made you say, you know what, I want to do that?
Man, he goes by one name. It's Mason from Detroit Pistons. Okay. John Mason was like, he was one of those guys who he just was himself on the microphone. You
Yeah.
know, he was no doubt like so different, and his style was different than the typical PA announcer.
Right.
He had energy, he had charisma, he had personality, and
Yeah.
now his style is all immersed throughout
Yeah.
the NBA. You know,
Yeah.
so he was a groundbreaker for me, and honestly, like. I actually met with him yesterday, Michael Biamate,
Really?
like for the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
He and I had a great conversation yesterday. He's another person who like he just has such an iconic voice and iconic
Yep.
tone and
Yep.
cadence, and he's had so many different memories, especially when the Heat had their run.
Yep.
With the LeBron, the Heatles and the
Yep.
LeBron and the D Wade team there.
Yep.
And so Lawrence Santer was another one who, again, like he had that smooth, cool, calm
Yep.
voice, and
Yeah.
he had that jazz background as a radio guy too. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many. Ahmad Crump in Cleveland, he's another one who, like,
Okay.
I love the energy he brings,
Yeah.
and I love how confident he is, how he could just command the arena. So when I was a young kid, I fell in love with that atmosphere. Even
Yeah.
like Michael Buffett is another one. He's another legend,
Yeah.
of course. Everybody knows
Yeah.
him. Everybody thinks of an announcer, they think of him.
Right.
But like these are people who I just like. I've always just been so enamored with how they can command the room, or how they can energize an arena, or how they can fire up different players, or just how I feel. Like, it makes you get goosebumps when you hear that music
Yeah.
drop, and that announcer just bring that energy and bring that life, and or
Right.
hit a big three, and you had that moment. So,
Yeah.
as a player, like I played basketball growing up,
Yep.
when I hear that, it made me want to be a starter, just so I can hear
Yeah.
my name
Yeah.
and hear everybody go crazy
Yeah.
for me or clap their
Yeah.
hands, or at least hear my mama, yell for me. Maybe they didn't go crazy when they said my name, but
Right.
that's a moment that that always felt special. And
Yeah.
it was just a seed that was planted in me at a very young age. I was in the WWE. Back in the day, WWF. So Howard
Yep.
Finkel was my guy,
Yep.
and so I felt like I was always like had a connection with an announcer, and a connection with a microphone, and a connection with just people. People energize me and fill me up, So,
Right.
it's been something that was embedded in me really young, and I didn't know how. I didn't know why. I didn't know. I always
Yeah.
dreamt of being in the NBA, but it's like
Okay.
there's no path. There's no
Right.
like, all right, now you go to school and you go
Right.
to PA announcer school, and then you
Right.
apply to, it's
Right.
just
Right.
it's just like,
Yeah.
which was another reason like I wanted to go into education, because it was like, okay, it was a blueprint. It was
Yeah.
it was a straight shot for how to get there. And at the time, we didn't have all the different things that we have now. We didn't have podcasts, like, we didn't have like YouTube. We didn't have like, all these different platforms and social
Yeah.
media where you can basically just hit record and start,
Yeah.
start the process of what you wanted to do. So,
Right.
man, those are some of the people who just have I'm forever indebted to, because of what they did for all the announcers just like me.
Absolutely. And when it, comes to being able to learn from those guys and listen to those guys, and I'm sure, there were times and bits and pieces and where you say, I like what he did there, and, I'm just going to take pieces of this and take pieces of this as I continue, to find my own voice. What the crazy thing was, for me to learn was that, you were doing things such as announcing, whether it be for a LeBron James camp or, doing things such as pep rallies at your school. And before, you had even gotten to places like Xavier and Ohio State, and ultimately with the Orlando Magic. Back then, were you kind of trying to hone your craft then when you were doing the pep rallies, or you're at a LeBron James camp and helping him out? Were you saying, listen, I'm kind of placing the breadcrumbs down now because I know where I want to go in the future?
Man, I wish I could say yes. I wish
Yeah.
I could say I was thinking that far into it.
Right.
It was just one of those. It was just opportunity. Faith and opportunity kind of coming into alignment. Even with those middle school pep rallies, like I just wanted the kids to have fun. I just wanted them to have fun and laugh. And school could be so serious, and still could be so structured. But
Right.
most times as a teacher, as soon as you like let your guard down a little bit, then the kids become themselves and they get all crazy and frantic and stuff like that too. So it was just an environment where it was just like, man, like we're gonna have fun. I'm gonna make y'all laugh. I'm gonna say y'all names at the top of my lungs. I'm gonna make y'all feel good and feel hyped up before this big football game or whatever we're getting excited for. And then that translated to me being like an MC. So we're doing we had like moms and muffins and dads and donuts. So we're trying to keep that parent relationship coming in, and they can come in the morning, and we were playing game shows like Family Feud and Minute to Win It and newlywed games with the grandparents. And I just have fun just entertaining people and making people laugh. And then, just those moments became like, okay, whenever we have someone on the microphone, let's call Jarryd. Let's see, if he can do it, if he's available. And most times I'm like, because I just love it and have fun. And then I had the opportunity of like, just kind of like, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So like there was I was at the LeBron James Academy as a coach, and I played with him, and I'm sure we're gonna get to that too, and later on. But I played with him, and Coach Drew invited me. I was at a friendly gathering, and invited me to the camp. And it wasn't even just as the knowledge; it was like to be a coach, and I was just loving. I love basketball. I love teaching the game of basketball. I'm passionate about the game of basketball, and then they passed me the microphone because the typical announcer who was there in the past didn't show up. So they just needed somebody to be on the mic. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got you. And I did it. And it was like a counselor versus campers game where some of the college players were coming and things like that. And LeBron played, and everybody was super excited to be that close to see him do his thing. But people thought that I was the Miami Heat announcer. So they thought that I was him, and I'm like, no, I am Jarryd Tribble. And then from there, the audio is actually still on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. But at that point, like I recorded it, and I was like, I feel like maybe I got something here. People think I'm him, and I'm not. Like maybe I can do something with this. So after that camp, I got back to Cincinnati. And I'm like, I'm old school, man. The bootleg DVDs and CDs, you pop the trunk and you like trying to get out there.
Yes, sir.
To the pavement, man. So when I got back to Cincinnati, like I took that audio 2 minutes and I sent it to every athletic director that I could find. I sent it to every high school I could, every college that was in the area, just to kind of put myself out there and get my name out there, just so I can kind of like hone in on those skills and kind of create opportunities, And I got a lot of no's or a lot of, messages that they didn't get responded to, but Xavier gave me a chance and gave me a shot, and just continued to build from there.
Now, tell me something. We had talked in our last conversation with David Steele, and I really wanted to get kind of in all of his years of being the play-by-play voice of whether it was the Florida Gators or the Orlando Magic, just kind of a background into maybe what people don't understand when it comes to the hard work of the business. We always see the finished product, but we never really see what's going on in the background. Just kind of give us an idea and an insight as to what maybe we don't know about what really goes into being a PA announcer and being an effective one as you are.
Man, it's a lot of prep. It's a lot of prep that goes into it. Be it especially with so many foreign players that are coming into the league now, some younger players that are coming into the league now. So I think there's a lot of prep because you want to, as much as that's the visiting team, you don't want to say the person's name wrong and they feel disrespected or they feel slighted or even even at the high school level, when I say somebody's name wrong and the parents are like, hey, his name is not Javante, it's Javante. It's like, my bad, I got you. I'll take that feedback. So, but at that level, there's grace and there's understanding when those things happen. But as a professional, you want it to be as clean, as crisp as possible. And so there's a lot of preparation. The Magic, and I'm sure every other team in the NBA and every different levels are very intentional about their time. And so just being able to like go through those reads really fast and not really fast to the point where people can't understand what I'm saying, but like we got to make sure come 6:36, we are done with this spot and we're ready for the next different thing, or we get this specific ad in. So there's a lot of that goes into it too. There's timing. There's everything can't be very exciting, which was hard for me to understand at first. Like a layup in the first quarter can't be the same as a dunk in the fourth quarter. But again, we don't know what's going to happen, so we got to continue to kind of like get a feel for it, those different moments, like a three that happens in the second quarter versus a three that happens and then the other coach calls a timeout. There's a different energy you got to bring to that. And so I try to feed off the crowd a little bit more, try to feed off the game, try to feed off the players a lot more. So it's those different moments that like feel special, but it's kind of like you're trying to anticipate different things that happen so you can make it magical, no pun intended, and make it special for both the players and for the fans.
Now, I will admit, if I can make an admission here,
it's safe space, man. Safe space.
Sandro Mamukelishvili, I will tell you, Mr. Tribble, I know you didn't know I was there. I was doing media for the Magic during the game versus Toronto, and I kind of looked at everybody. I said, "That's how you say his name?" Like I learned that from you. I will say that I did not know how to say Mamukelishvili until hearing it from you during that Magic game, man. So I have to appreciate you so much for that, and thank you for teaching me how to say Sandro Mamukelishvili from the Toronto Raptors, now the Los Angeles Lakers. But man, if I could talk. Just one more thing, just in terms of PA and what kind of goes into the background of it. I have to be of the understanding. There's probably a lot of individuals who come to you and say, "Hey, Jarryd, man, listen, I want to do what you're doing. I want to get into this space. I want to be able to accomplish, certain things in which you have done in this space, which is incredible and is still growing." What is the biggest piece of advice that you would give to a young guy that's just trying to now get his foot in the door in the business, and they see where you are, but you kind of, allow them to understand this is kind of the process and the steps in which I had to take, and they're able to take gems from that?
I think honestly, I would just say yes. It's just that simple. And the next part of that would just be say, J. Cole said it best, man. And we said, "Love yours." Like sometimes we see the end goal of somebody else, and I have to do myself and humble myself in a lot of ways too, because I see, oh man, this announcer's doing this, and they're doing this commercial, and they're doing this, they're in the summer league, and they're doing this, and it's just like, man, appreciate where you're at in your journey, and continue to say yes and continue to get better, because honestly, if something is meant for you, God's gonna make a way. Anything that can, and I can testify to that to my to the umpteenth degree, because I feel like if God wants something for you, it's going to happen. It's going to come together. He's going to make a way. And so I just say yes and just get the reps, get the practice, because I've been doing this for 18 years, and it started with the middle school. It started with a camp. It started with honestly not making a lot of money in the beginning, and just kind of just saying yes to just being on the opportunity. It started off with even with Xavier University. I wanted men's basketball, but I didn't get men's basketball. So I got men's and women's soccer, and up to that point, I had never watched a soccer match before. So it was just like, what? This is the opportunity. So I'm going to say yes to this. And I'm going to try to rock these fans. I'm going to try to be confident. And a lot of the calls that I do now are built based on that foundation of soccer, the long goal, it's the same thing with three. You know what I mean? It kind of I kind of use that experience and that energy in those moments. Because even with soccer, there's not a lot of it's not a lot of talking. There's not a lot of announcing in soccer. So the moment you get it, you can't miss it. You got to be ready. So I feel like that helped me. But I just say, just appreciate where you're at. Get as many reps as possible. Continue to be humble and be gracious, because the right situation, the right opportunity is going to come. And you never know when it's going to come and how it's going to come. So, and then also too, just make sure you keep that balance too. Sometimes my ambition has been my biggest weakness, because I wouldn't be where I am right now without my wife, my wife and my kids, I'm still in the Cleveland area now. So they have supported me and going back and forth. And that wasn't the original plan. But it's just been kind of all right, man, I'm going to try to figure this out, But it's always don't lose sight of who are the people who helped pour into you, who supported you, who care about you, who going to be there, whether you, my wife, she was there for me when I was a middle school teacher at the gym. She was there listening to it. So now I'm in the NBA and doing it for the Magic. She's still right there loving it. But she's just hey, she been there, So, Don't lose sight of the people who've been there. Same with my parents and my sister and some of my closest friends. Like, they've always supported me throughout this journey, so they're always rooting for me. But don't lose sight of those people on your progress and your steps to the top.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad that you brought up your lovely wife as well, because I think even with individuals such as David Steele or even others in which we've heard that are taking steps back, just away from the business in which they've loved, it seems to me more often than not now we're just hearing about the fact of even the sacrifices in which your significant other and your children have to make in order for us to be able to live out our dreams, and just to be able to give her the love and respect, and just telling her thank you on a platform like this. That's really huge, in and of itself. And also just talking about the journey of it all. For me, I'm 31 years old. Last year was my first year covering the Orlando Magic games here in Jacksonville for 1010XL, and I'm trying to now still understand, just the journey of it all. I may not be, kind of where I want to be yet, but I mean, to be where I am just kind of right now and to see the things in which I did in year one myself, as well as Thomas Kelly. I mean, it really just allows for you to take a step back. And as you continue to preach, man, just being thankful, about it all. And that's something, in which is really huge. And it's crazy that it's happened around basketball. And you talk about how much you love basketball. I grew up a basketball nut, growing up, myself. Just kind of talk about the role in which basketball has played in your life, because I've always heard, whether it was guys like Darius Miles or guys like Stephon Marbury, where they said growing up, we were told, this little orange basketball will take you places in which you've never been before. And I thought, that just meant playing the game. But I mean, yourself as a PA announcer, I mean, myself as, a guy who's covering, the Orlando Magic, I never thought that, I'd be, the places in which I've been, and people I've been able to talk to. I'm sure you much of the same. But for you, just kind of what has been the role basketball has played in your life?
Basketball is like, I love basketball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basketball has done so many great things for me and has brought me so many different great places.
Right.
Like the game of basketball, started playing probably third or fourth grade.
Okay.
And, I started playing basketball just my dad was into basketball, and he was a coach, and my mom was actually a very successful high school basketball coach here in Cleveland. And so I was always around it, and she was very successful. So she got a lot of trophies. So I grew up seeing all these district championships and regional championships, and just seeing all the accolades that she acquired. And my sister was really, really good at basketball too. So we're like a basketball family. But I just can't believe how much the game has done for me. Of course, we all want to get to the NBA as a player at some point in our lives, and we think about these different things. But as I sit down and I look at it, I'm like, man, like, okay, maybe you didn't make it as a player, but like I'm the PA announcer. The guy to my left is sitting here courtside. He's a game operations director.
Yeah.
The guy to my left is a statistician doing the book.
Right.
Then there's another person who's doing another book. There's another person who's doing the clock. There's another person who's, you know what I mean? Like there's all these different roles, all these people behind us who are into the technology and who are into the engineering and the audio. Like all of these people are here because of this game of basketball that we love. And for me, like, I see you're an LA guy. So I had the opportunity of meeting my hero, Kobe Bryant.
We're gonna get into that, brother. Man, we getting into that.
Okay, we
are getting into that.
Okay, but like when I sit down and I think about, man, this game of basketball that I just picked up, my dad gave me the ball and was willing to support me and advocate for me, and coach me and just kind of be there for me. And then I'm like, to take that and I became a player and had success as a basketball player in high school, but the basketball stopped bouncing for me in college. I had opportunities to play D2 and D3, but I just had a fixed mindset. I got to go D1. I got to go D1.
Right.
D1. And I went to that basketball tryout for D1, and they offered me an opportunity to be like the manager and support and be on like the scout team. Right. And then my pride and my ego kind of got in the way of it. And so right there, like I went from doing that to doing intramurals in college because, I wanted to go and I got invited to come to that practice, but you know what? I didn't go. And I was like, you know what? I want to be a player. I don't want to be a manager. I kind of like, kind of got my own way. And I regret that so much. That's why I say yes to different things. You get opportunities because, like, who knows what it would have been for me? Because at the time, I didn't know I was going to be a basketball coach.
Really?
But I had a vision of just being this player, and then when that stopped, it just kind of, I didn't know what was going to happen. So when I became a middle school teacher, I was an assistant basketball coach, and even that I was just like, I was hemming and hawing about it. But then I became a coach, and then when I became a coach and became a head coach for that middle school team, we had so much success. But then I saw, like, man, I just fell in love with the game, learning it, being able to teach it, being able to watch it, or watching basketball differently. Like, I watch different basketball so much different now as a basketball coach, like a totally different eye. I'm like, especially at the NBA level, I'm like, how is he that open?
Right.
There's so many scouts. There's so much film that goes on. There's so many people who know the play. Like, you could still know the play and still, like, execute and get open for a great bucket that way. So I'm just so enamored with that. So the game of basketball, I'm just forever grateful for and forever indebted to, because I met so many different players, had so many great experiences, have been able to travel and do so many great things, all because of this love of the game of basketball. And so the fact that I found a role as I was actually on the state championship coach and coaching the Sandy Nations High School. We won the state championship in 2024. I was an assistant coach with Cam Joyce, and just being able to, like, have success and see that all the way through. You know what I mean? I never got a chance to do it as a player. I never got out of the district finals as a player, but as a coach, to be able to have that state championship ring and climb that ladder and cut down those nets and just seeing all the great things you can do with the game of basketball and just sports in general. I love it.
Now, let's talk about a couple of individuals in whom you have met and been able to cross paths with because of the game of basketball. We will start with LeBron James because, I mean, we'll go 5 hours about Kobe Bryant. So we'll start with LeBron.
Right. Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5.
Oh, man, it'll be an absolute movie. I mean, so how do you end up crossing paths with LeBron James to where not only did you do an academy with, one LeBron James being a coach there, but you actually played AAU with LeBron James, if my memory serves correct?
Yeah, I did, man. It's so crazy, man, how God works, man, and how you never know who's watching. I mean, that's another lesson too. Like, I was playing in a tournament. I'm not even sure what the situation was, but I was playing in a tournament, and the legend Coach Drew was there with his sons and with LeBron and with some other players, and he was kind of getting geared up for the AAU Nationals in Cocoa Beach, and so he had his core group of players. But he was trying to find a couple of different pieces to kind of help kind of get him over the edge and kind of fill out the team. And so he was there just kind of watching and looking for the right people. And so myself and another player, he saw something in us. He saw me. I was very physical. I was the first one on the floor, taking charges, playing defense, rebounding. At a young age, my mom and dad always taught me, like, that's the one side of the court you can always control is your defense, your rebounding, your effort, your energy. And so he saw those different things. He saw I had some good hands, saw I could finish. And so, he saw that's what he needed. So that's what he kind of asked me to do on that particular team. And from there, little do I know, I'm playing with this future legend and GOAT and LeBron James, and he was always so special. He was always different. And, at one point, he and I were the same height. We're both 5'8". We were in the line doing the height thing to see who could stand behind who, But then he became 6'1", then 6'3", then 6'5", then 6'9", and he, had the skills of a guard, but had the body of a forward center, Even when we were younger, like, I always thought he always had dreams of going to the NBA.
Okay.
He always talked about wanting to go to the NBA. He always talked about wanting to be one of the best to ever do it, to be in the NBA, to win NBA championships, win this stuff. And people at that young age are like, like you hear a kid, okay, everybody says that. Okay,
everybody want to go to the league,
right? But he always talked about it, and I always knew it was going to happen. I felt like it was going to happen, but I thought it was going to happen like, he's going to go to North Carolina and go to school for 4 years. And maybe, we'll turn on the TV one day and see this, he actually did it. Oh, wow. Look at me when I'm, in my role. But for him to be this phenom through high school and just to dominate like he did. And also too, like, man, just he has that same circle. he has that same circle of friends. You probably saw, he still comes to Akron. He still has his foundation here, so he still has a level of humility and relationships. And so it's really cool. So I've been blessed to continue to see him, throughout our lives, be it at a Cavs game or when I go back to Akron. He had a battleground showcase tournament. His son was here when he was a senior in high school, and so again, there was an announcer who said the wrong thing, and his friend Willie McGee, who was the athletic director at that time, gave me a call. He said, "Are you available?" And I was like, "Man, it's the 4th of July, but you know what? I ain't got nothing going on, sure."
Right.
And that opportunity, again, Big Boy in the Morning was there. He heard me and was coming up to me, and we got a chance to talk and connect. And I got a chance to, again, reconnect with LeBron, and he was very happy with what I did and how I showcased it, that particular tournament and showcase. And my son was with me, so he got a chance to meet LeBron for the first time. And it was so funny because at the time, once you sign like one autograph, everybody wants an autograph. Everybody wants a picture. So I wasn't going to bother him, put him in that situation. But it was like, all right, man, my son's here. At the time, I think he was like maybe 4 years old. So I went up to him and he dapped me up and we connected real quick and took a picture of my son. And people were just like, what? Like, I thought nobody was able to talk to this guy. But he came and talked to me and came up to me during the game. And we kind of talked and dapped me up, telling me I was doing a good job and enjoying it and having fun. So, it's like one of those situations where we get a chance to see each other throughout the years and continue to connect. And even this past year, I had seen him at the Cavs game this past year. And even last year too, we connected. But like I don't think he knew it. I was the announcer for the Orlando Magic. So when he came after like a coach's challenge, he came up to the table, like, "Oh, J Trib," and we came and connected. And everybody was looking at me like, "What? Like what?" So, he hasn't forgotten about me over the years, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunities and the platforms that he's given me to do what I love to do. And then just those are some of the greatest memories of my basketball history. Coach Drew was such a great coach, and my dad came on as a coach as well. But he just he's such a good coach, man. Like he was able to take a group. We didn't have a lot of size. We actually played Houston Hoops, which I learned later in life that Kendrick Perkins was actually on that team. Wow. And he was huge back then. That team was so big. And I remember they beat us and they embarrassed us, and we how it is in AAU. You lose one game, if you lose another one, you're eliminated. And we ended up losing that game and just rallied and ended up going to the AAU national championship game. Wow. And ended up losing at the buzzer. I think if you watch the movie more than the game, it's a shot. He shot at three-quarters or half court and he missed it. But that was that particular game. So a lot of my greatest memories come from that AAU Shooting Stars basketball team. And even the coach that I was with, Cam Joyce, he was the son of Drew Joyce. And he's the one who came full circle. He and I connected, and I coached with him and got me in St. Ignatius, and and again, so it's just all of these different parallels that came from that group of people who I'm forever grateful and indebted to, for sure.
Now we talk about my GOAT, one Mr. Kobe Bean Bryant. Man, listen, I will die on that hill.
Man,
forever,
hold on, let me whip my jersey at.
No, I will die on that hill forever, my brother. Now, I'm doing my research. I'm trying to get a better idea of Mr. Jarryd Tribble, and I'm seeing certain just pictures, about him coaching and in videos, about him talking about being able to sacrifice, having belief in yourself, also making sure that he's able to tell his story through dyslexia. I come across a photo. Read the description in the photo and says, "I've met my hero Kobe Bryant at the Kobe Bryant Academy." I said, "Now, what?" I said, "Get out of here, man. I gotta know, Mr. Tribble. I'm telling you, I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna shut up because I gotta know the why. I gotta know the how of your love, number one, for Kobe Bryant, but how in the world were you able to connect with this guy to where you were able to be at one of his academy camps?"
Man, it always come back to God, brother. I'm telling you, there is no other way that some of these things that have happened in my life I can attribute it to, man. I grew up the biggest Kobe Bryant fan. Anybody who knows me, anybody who has heard of me knows it. When I was young, I was 10 years old, I think, when he came into the league, and
Okay.
he was like, of course, before LeBron, because LeBron was 11 years old, so
Right.
but he
Right.
was that high school phenom who, they started showing. They didn't show his full game when I was that young, but they were showing clips. So he was getting clips on Sports Center, and he was like the first player who was like a guard playing at that level.
Yeah.
And so, usually high school level, somebody come out of high school, they're big, they're a forward, they're a center.
Right.
But he was a guard, and he wasn't a guard that was like so much bigger than everybody else or so much stronger than everybody else.
Right.
And I just forever I fell in love with his work ethic. So I was hearing about him and how, he was skipping lunch and he was going to shoot during lunch. He was going to school early. He was practicing after school, and he always had this confidence about himself and this aura about himself. And even when he first came into the league, it was like he wanted to play against MJ. He wanted to play at what in that era. He wanted to make sure that he didn't miss that opportunity to play against the best of the best. And even when he shot those air balls, like, he was the one who wanted to take that shot. He was the one who was like, you know what, give me the rock, I'm gonna shoot it. And when he shot the first one, he shot an air ball, he shot another one, and he shot another one, and he shot another one. And then later on in life, I found out that when he got back home, he went to the gym and just kept shooting again to kind of get himself prepared for when he got that moment again. So I always just connected with that level of work ethic. And then when you see somebody who, again, just fell in love with the process and the journey, he wasn't Kobe Bryant. A lot of people go back and like, man, they traded Vlade Divac for Kobe Bryant. That was a terrible trade. But like, he was a high school guard who nobody had really heard of or really believed in. And he just put in so much time and so much work. And then to see him go from that person who was shooting air balls to barely getting in games. And he had like a bunch of DNPs in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching TV on NBC, and the fans were chanting, Kobe, Kobe, or we want Kobe, because he wasn't getting in games. And he just kept working. And so, I'm sorry, you see where my love is.
Listen, man. I'm enjoying this
People
one. I'm
probably
enjoying this part, man.
This part.
Yes, sir. I'm enjoying this.
So again, I love his work ethic. I love his skill. I love his like approach to the game. And my mom and my dad just blessed me, and somebody else too, like Beverly Norman, who was another person who was like, she just had all these different connects with the Cavs. So, we would go to games, and people would, hear my love for Kobe. So my parents would give me tickets, or people would bless me with tickets. I remember there was a game, I had a high school game, and literally there was a Lakers game that night. And so I couldn't miss the game, but I was like, as soon as this game is over, we booked it to Rocket Mortgage, and I had a Christmas gift from a family friend, Mr. Forrest, who gave us second row seats, and it was like the best seats I had ever had in my life. And so I'm sitting there looking at it like, oh my gosh, like Kobe's right there. I still have those pictures from that game. I still have those moments, and I still remember the fro. I still remember those Kobe ones that he had going on, and I just was just like, I always wanted to meet him. And there were so many times where like, he wasn't one of those people who came out after games, especially in Cleveland. Like, he didn't come out after the games because he didn't really have family and friends. And, he's just kind of very like an enigma in that way.
Yeah.
And so I traveled, bro. Like, I saw him at Staples Center. I saw them at I went to Indiana and saw them. Wow. I went to Detroit and saw them. Right. Like, I was going to as many games as I could. There was actually a time where my wife, and that's why I love her so much, because we were literally in Indiana, and I bought some great seats. That's back before we had kids, and I had a little expendable money. We could splurge a little bit. But we were walking after the game was over, and I literally looked to my left, and I see Kobe Bryant in a restaurant. And I was like, my eyes just lit up. I was just like, oh my gosh, he's right there. Like, I literally could see him eating right now, like with Phil Jackson. Like, it was just crazy. Wow. So I waited outside of that restaurant for like an hour. My wife was like, then girlfriend was like, I'm not waiting out here. Like, he left me. She was like, I'm going to the restaurant, but do you? And I'm just like, this is my moment. Like, I've been like waiting to meet this person, trying to get an autograph, shaking hand, and I'm just waiting outside this restaurant. And then, what happens? He goes through the inside, doesn't come on the outside of it. So I'm just like, see him through the glass. It's like, oh my gosh, he's right there. Right. And so I didn't get a chance to meet him. And then I went on his website. I went on the website. I saw about this academy and this camp, and I was just like looking and researching like
Yeah.
how can you be a part of this, like, because that's the thing,
Yeah.
you don't know, like, you don't know how to get
Right.
in and how it all happens. And I saw the frequently asked questions. Do you want to be a part of the Kobe Bryant Academy? And I was like,
Right.
absolutely.
Bingo.
And so
Bingo.
I sent them a resume and I sent them, a cover letter, and I emailed them, and they got back to me and said, you're on the waiting list. And then they got back to me and said, you are a part of the camp.
Wow.
And honestly, man, there's no way, like, I got to be a part of the Kobe Bryant Academy. And it was like,
No.
as a coach, and I got a chance to like be around my hero for like 5 days, you know,
Man.
and
Man.
it was the most amazing opportunity and amazing experience. I was 10 years old.
Man.
Back
Man.
when he walked in that gym, I was trying to like keep it together, but I'm like cheesing. He was talking about it. I'm like cheesing, smiling ear
Yeah.
to ear. Um, and then everybody who was there gets an autographed jersey, and you get a picture with him, and you take a team photo with him too. So
Man.
I took those opportunities, but then like, and it was also balanced too, because like, I didn't want to scare him away, make him call
Right.
security on me.
Right.
Who's this
Right.
crazy guy here? But anytime I got a chance to be close to him, like, I asked him questions, because again, he was there teaching like the flex offense, and he was teaching the Princeton offense. So
Okay.
these are things that I'm like, oh man, like these are offenses that I was running as a coach. I'm like, oh man, like I
Yeah.
really wanted to ask him genuine questions and get a
Yeah.
chance to connect with him and talk to him.
Yeah.
And it was just a dream come true. Like, he
Yeah.
just to be able to get an autograph from him and shake his hand and tell him how much of a hero he was to me, and how much I feel like I am the person that I am because of him, like his work ethic. Like, even to this
Right.
day, like I watch Kobe Bryant videos, and even one of my
All the
most
time.
recent posts, like I met with Michael Biamonte yesterday,
Okay.
and that's really just because of that mentality of like looking at what Kobe did during the off season. Like,
Yeah.
Kobe didn't stop shooting, and Kobe didn't just relax. Like, Kobe was
Right.
like, I'm gonna call MJ. I'm gonna call and work out with
Yeah.
Reggie Miller. I'm gonna
Yeah.
call Magic Johnson. I'm gonna watch film. I'm gonna do what I can and learn from these different greats, and then apply it to what I'm trying to do. And
Right.
so when Kobe Bryant passed away, man, it was like I was like devastated that day. Like,
Yeah.
I literally am
Yeah.
always wearing like I even like to this day. This is a little secret, a little behind the scenes. I usually am wearing like a Kobe Bryant shirt, or like a Kobe Bryant
Really?
shoes, or something
Okay.
Kobe, just because
Yeah.
like that mentality, that confidence,
Right.
that like that is has been so much and such an instrumental part of my life that
Right.
I mean, he is my GOAT, and
Yep.
I'm still like, I still love what Kobe Bryant did for the game of basketball. I love Jalen Brunson now because of like he always wear Kobe's, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Right. Right. Right.
so he's a Kobe guy, and always refused his signature shoe to wear Kobe. So
Yeah.
I respect him and what he's been able to do with it. But man, I'm forever like in love with Kobe Bryant and what he's done for the game, what he's done for different fans, and how he's inspired them, and just what he's done for women's basketball as well.
Yeah.
Like he was pushing women's basketball before it was popular, before it was
Yeah.
really being acknowledged, and what he's done for youth sports, and what his wife
Right.
has continued to do with his mission and that foundation. So, man, Kobe's my guy, man. Kobe's my guy, and I love talking about him. And I can go on and on, so I'll stop there. But I'm forever
Man.
grateful that I had that opportunity to work that basketball camp, and just be able to connect with him and take that picture. Like, some people were, there's an official photo you get, and then I went up
Okay.
to him and I just went and talked to him and asked him to take another photo. And people are like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, yo, this is my GOAT.
Man.
I
Yeah.
ain't no way
Right.
I'm gonna miss this opportunity. If he say
Right.
no, he say no. But I'm gonna make him say no.
Right. Right.
So
Nah,
he took
man.
that picture and connected with
Yeah.
me, and it was just one of my favorite memories as a fan and as a lover of the game of basketball.
Nah, man. I also just really enjoy the fact that you've even talked about implementing the Mamba mentality into even what you're doing as a PA announcer. That's something I always loved about Kobe. He said the Mamba mentality just doesn't stop with basketball. It's in any kind of professionalism in which you're doing. If you have the love for it and you want to get better at it, that's what the Mamba mentality is. And don't stop working at it at all if you love it. that bad enough. And for me, it felt like all time stopped. When you get the news that your hero passes away, and Kobe Bryant, still miss him to this day. But just glad that his legacy has continued really to live on. In that stance, with guys such as yourself. Now we transition now into you getting, to Orlando. And, what I found out is, long before you had become the Orlando, PA announcer, you had an appreciation for the Orlando Magic squad. Even all the way, from being from Ohio, having a love and appreciation for the Shaq and Penny squad. I believe, in the article in which the Orlando Magic came out with, they talk about your sister really supported Penny Hardaway when he was there in City Beautiful. So kind of what was your just feel and, kind of admiration for the Orlando Magic at that time before becoming, the PA announcer?
Man, like I was a big Shaq fan.
Okay.
Shaq was like he was the man. He was so dominant. He was so strong and so aggressive, and
Monster. Yeah.
it was like he
Yeah.
was like a creative player. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
where everything is a 99 except for free throws.
The man's a
So
monster. The man was a
so
monster.
just that level of dominance. You talk about classic movies that throw back what we talked about. Blue Chips was another movie
Blue
that was like,
chips.
oh man, that
Yeah.
movie's so good, so
Yeah.
good. There needs to be a sequel or somebody needs to recreate
Yeah.
that, but.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I just loved like my sister was a big Penny fan and a big
Okay.
Nick Anderson fan. She told me this year. We actually had the chance of introducing her to Nick Anderson. Um,
Really?
yeah, man, like it was so
Okay.
cool because like the first time when I first officially got the gig, Nick Anderson came up to me and was like, "Hey, congratulations, welcome to the Atlanta Magic family." And
Wow.
I was just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I just met
This is
Nick
Nick
Anderson. Like,
Anderson.
I can't believe it. And he knows who I
Yeah.
am. Like, what? And then as you keep coming, you're gonna be now we talking and build a relationship and
Yeah.
rapport. But the Magic have just always been like a special team. Like they just always have had a good, fun atmosphere, even from the mascot and stuff.
Yep.
And he's always got good energy and it's
Yep.
fun. It's always been entertaining. And then the Magic have always had this phenomenal players.
Yeah.
So from Penny Hardaway to Shaq to
Yep.
Dwight Howard to
Yep.
Tracy McGrady to
Yep.
Grant Hill, like
Yep.
and these special teams, even the team that went to the finals in
Yeah.
2009,
Yep.
like that was another special team that kind of
Right.
like where things kind of all came together and they had a really special run. So, or even Aaron Gordon, with the dunk
Yeah.
contest, or you know
Yeah.
what I mean. So like the
Yeah.
Magic have always just been relevant and always kind of been on the scene with all these different special players, and so
Yeah.
um, it was just always something that it just always stood out to me. And they were a team that I always liked and I always kind of had my eye on because they were always kind of in the mix doing different things. So the fact that it came full circle, it definitely is definitely pretty special.
Now, when it came to you ultimately getting the job, and I was so happy when they had made the announcement that you were getting the job, because I believe during some
Thank
preseason games, it was you and I believe another individual who they were having call just a couple of games, and they ultimately make the decision. And I had said, just kind of listening to the calls in which you're, man, I was like, man, I like this guy, man. I hope that
Oh, thank you, man.
they end up, yeah. I mean, choosing him as the voice. I know for me, it was kind of a thing where. I understand there was initial shock when Mr. Porter, had announced that, hey, this is my last season with the Orlando Magic group, and it just seemed that somebody was going to have, the honor of replacing an individual who I think some in the Orlando area would say, hey, that's our Lawrence Tanter, or that's our Mason, or
For sure.
that's our guy who we've grown up with. So it's kind of difficult for us to really think of another guy being the voice. But what I appreciated a lot from Orlando Magic fans was the fact that they really embraced you and they really put their arms around you the first moment in which the announcement was made that you were going to be the PA announcer for the ball club. How much did that being able to be embraced the way that you were allow for you just to be able to exhale and say, you know what, man, I'm going to do my thing, and this is going to be a lot of fun, and Orlando's really going to love just what I'm bringing to the table, as as well as the fact that I'm still going to be honoring Mr. Porter and everything that he did leading up to this moment.
Yeah, Paul, and it's just like I talked about Michael, man. Paul is right up there with those icons, man. Like
Yeah.
he's actually from the Cleveland area, so it's kind of funny
Really?
how Yeah, he started his career with the Cleveland Cavaliers,
Wow.
um, as a radio host. As a radio play by play, and so
Wow.
I'm just forever again grateful and indebted to what he built and the foundation that he built.
Yeah.
Even the standing cheer, like that's his thing. And the first preseason game I did, we were kind of going back and forth trying to find that balance of new and kind of going new with the old, but
Yeah.
when I didn't do it, it didn't feel right, and you could just
Right.
tell it didn't feel the same.
Yeah.
And then when I did it, man, the crowd just erupted and really felt that level of connection, and so I appreciate all he did for he brought personality and brought enthusiasm to the microphone and
Yeah.
creativity and levity and having relationships and rapport with the players and the coaches and things of that nature. So I'm forever grateful for what he built and what he did. And the fans, right? You're right. Like, we grow up with these people, we grow up with these different people, and things happen, and
Right.
people go different ways, but then
Yeah.
it's just change, and people
Yeah.
don't always like it. That nobody
Right.
wants to be the man to
Right.
follow the man.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and even hearing that he was there for 36 years was just like an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't even imagine. I've only been on this earth for 40.
Right.
So,
Right. Right. Right.
so the fact that he was just so committed to it, and hearing his travel and all he did for the organization, and like he did for announcers like me, I'm just forever grateful for what he did. And you're right, man. Like, the fans really embraced me,
Yeah.
and my style, because that's the one thing that I'm always going to be is 100% myself. And I think
Yeah.
that's another advice for somebody else who's looking to do something like this, is to one of your earlier questions. Like, you got to be who you are, and be comfortable in your own skin. So, when I shot my shot and this opportunity came, it was just like, I'm just gonna be myself. And there's a lot of imposter syndrome that comes, and there's a lot of
Right.
fear, and there's a lot of like, man, I'm not as good as him, and
Right.
I'm not this, I'm not that. I need to change who I am. And it was just like, you know what? Somebody told me right before my first preseason game, just be yourself and be you.
Yeah.
And actually, one of my best friends was there, Charles Mitchell was there, and he was like my hype guy, like the whole time
Yeah.
before the preseason game came.
Right.
We went to breakfast. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is Jarryd Tribble. He about to be the next PA for the Orlando Magic. It's his.
Yeah.
He gonna do it. So
Right.
him just like pouring into me and supporting me the way he did, and again, like the fans being so kind and so gracious. But honestly, like, it was just that again, just God giving me a gift.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like I always pray about it, man, let me honor you with what you gave me and what you did for me. Because when it comes to being an announcer and it comes to different styles, man, people can love it or hate it. People can say it's too much, you're too not enough, or this, and not enough that. Like, it's like any artist, any song you create. But it's kind of like, as long as I'm honoring God with what He gave me, and He's happy with me and how I'm delivering and how I'm carrying myself, and how my wife feels and my kids feel, and even the organization too. Like, they've been super supportive, man. Like, believing in me and even trusting me. Like, me being in Cleveland and traveling back and forth wasn't the original plan. It was just a level of like honesty and humility that I just had to tell them, like, man, like, I'm honored that you would offer this opportunity for me, but I just didn't feel like I had all the answers. My kids was in
Right.
school, and I had a full-time job, and it was October.
Right.
I'm like, I can't just be
Right.
quitting jobs and leaving.
Right. Right.
It's like,
Right.
I ain't got it like that just yet,
Right. Right.
But the fact that they were like, you know what, we'll work with you. We understand where you're coming from. We trust you, believe in you. We're going to support you. When I walked into the arena that particular day, again, people out. That was a sold out game against. I want to say they played the Miami Heat that particular game,
Okay.
and so to be in that arena and then to meet the security guards and the ushers and different reporters, and everybody was just so nice and so kind and so gracious and so like welcoming. It just made me feel good. And then when I officially became the announcer, it was the same thing. People were like, man, we were excited it was you. We glad you got it, man. You do a great job, man. So they just kind of fill me with that positivity and that good energy, and it just helped me feel comfortable and confident that when I hit that button, people are going to appreciate what I'm bringing, and just know that I love it so much and care about it. And I want fans just to have the best experience ever. I want them to leave games. I want us to win all the games, but
Yes.
like, if there's a situation where we fall short or we don't win, I want them to still say, you know what, but I had a good time. I feel like
Right.
it was worth the investment. I had great memories with my dad, or people
Yeah.
who that may be their first game. That may be their first
Right.
and last game. So it's
Right.
kind of like I just want to deliver the best possible product for them, and the Magic feel the same way. I want the players to feel energized, and again, the love and support and kindness that I've received from everybody for this past year is amazing, and I'm very grateful for it.
Now, gotta ask this question to you. Lakers fan, like myself, but now the Orlando Magic fever has now been implemented into individuals such as ourselves. I know for me it started going back to 2 years ago, when I saw the Magic play the Cleveland Cavaliers in that game 4, and hearing just that arena just loud, for the group. And I know that's when it started for me. For one, Mr. Jarryd Tribble, when did you get infected with the Orlando Magic fever?
Man, it was when I walked in that arena as the voice of the Orlando Magic. You know,
Yeah.
there's just an aura that stadium and that arena brings, and there is so much there's so much like love that I could just see that the fans have for the team, and I see all the work that these guys are putting in, and the time and the commitment that they're putting in, and how much that the production team gives in. So it's like, as soon as I walked in on that first game, October 22nd, I was all in. Like the Magic
Yeah.
were my favorite team. I'm getting a chance to
Right.
meet some of the players and connecting with the players and just fall in love with these guys, and
Right.
just being able to meet the security guards. And it was one time where I came over to my parents' house and my dad was like, seeing me on my phone. He's like, "What you watching?" I'm like, "I'm watching a Magic game." He's like, "What?"
Right.
Like,
Right.
he's
Right.
like, "You really like
Right.
these guys?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, I
Right.
want to see them do well. I want to see them be successful, and I
Right.
want to see them win a championship. Like, I wanted to come all the way through. So after that first game, October 22nd, I'll never forget it. We got a big win. We had a big moment. Um, it was back and forth, and we beat the rivals, the crosstown rivals, and
Right.
from that moment on, man, it was just I just have continued to just fall in love more and more with the team. That the Desmond Bain three, the
Yep.
walk off three against Portland,
Yep.
that was another moment.
Okay.
The play in game,
Yep.
when they beat the bricks off of Charlotte.
Yep.
you
Yes,
know,
sir.
you know,
Yes, sir.
it was an amazing atmosphere. The crowd was electric, and then those playoff games we had this year, like it was just another
Yeah.
level. Every year, it's just like, or every game, as you progress, you just
Yeah.
see the energy, the enthusiasm, and the passion, and you see how much work these guys are putting in. So, I got the fever early in last
Yeah.
season. I'm all in. I'm not taking no medication for it, man. I'm just gonna let it run its course, man. Let it do what
Right.
it does.
Absolutely. Couple quick hitters, man. And appreciate you giving us, this moment in time with you, man. And we will definitely have you back on again. But this, thank you for these moments. Just a couple quick hitters, before we do let you go. You had mentioned just a couple of calls in which you made this season. If you can rank them 1, 2, and 3, I'm gonna give them to you. Paolo's dunk on the whole Hornets team. You were able to, call that one. Jamal Cain's boom on Jalen Duren, or Bain's game winner. 1, 2, 3. Your favorite call that you made out of those three.
I gotta go. Oof, man, you can't go wrong with any of these, man.
Right.
But the Desmond Bain three is probably my first. I'm gonna go
Okay.
with that one as number one because that was
Okay.
just a moment where I it was just an amazing shot, and the fact
Yeah.
that it was like balls in the air, it was just
Right.
poetic, man. And the
Yeah.
crowd erupts. I actually had my camera on my face at that moment too, because I felt
Yeah.
like something special was going to happen. And the
Right.
fact that he hit that three, that was my first ever game winner walk off three.
Right.
Man, it was one of my favorite memories. And then that Jamal Cain, I always go, who Cain?
Yeah.
Jamal Cain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that dunk
Right.
was so nasty. Oh,
Yeah.
it was such a great dunk. Like it was
Right.
amazing. And again, you can see he's another player who you can see puts in so much time and so
Right.
much work. He was playing with the Osceola team too.
Yep.
And the fact that he was just committed. Sometimes he was in the lineup, sometimes he wasn't. But then he hit his stride right at the right time and right moment. And then even that, you could just see it. He was in stride. And he just went all in on it, and it was
Right.
just an amazing, amazing moment. And then that Paolo dunk was crazy, man. I mean, I feel like again, Paolo. I mean, he turned it on in the playoffs for sure.
Sure did.
And again, those are the big moments, man. I'll never forget.
Last one for you before we do let you go, man. It is the summertime. I'm sure you're enjoying your vacation. You itching to get back at it? I mean, with the Orlando Magic, seems it's going to be a big
I
year too for the squad, man.
I cannot wait. I can't wait. Like the first round after we were out of the playoffs, it was actually hard for me to watch. And it
Yeah.
was actually the Cleveland was in it too. So I was just
Right.
like, I was into the West Coast games. I just knew like, man, I wish you could have been there. And even my coaching group, we were texting. I kept saying, but the Magic, and they're like, man, stop
Right.
texting about the Magic. You know.
Right.
But no, I can't. I can't wait, man. I love what I love that Nikola Vucevic is back now,
Yep.
man, and like
Yep.
that's gonna be a big moment. I've been practicing saying his name,
Yep.
and I want to get that big moment opening
Yep.
night, and when he first comes in, or his first basket, or his first three.
Right.
Even Sean Sweeney, I can't wait to say his name and kind of
Yep.
give him some good energy and a good pop for his first time, being the new head coach. And it's just so much excitement and enthusiasm. And, they didn't have the big trades or make the big signings and things of that nature, but this is a really good team and some really good individuals and really good coaches. And, there's a lot of good hope and a lot of good excitement. So I'm counting down October 13th.
Yep.
It's the first preseason game.
Back at it.
I can't wait to get back into the Kia Center. I didn't like how we finished off and ended, so I'm looking forward to coming in and hitting the ground running. Man, I got some things I've been working on that I want to try, and I just can't wait to see and engage with the fans and connect with the fans and really get that Kia Center rocking again next season.
Nah, man, can't wait to hear you. Can't wait to shake your hand come next season, man, when I'm down there, for the Orlando Magic games, man. It's been an honor and a privilege to talk to one Mr. Jarryd Tribble, the Orlando Magic PA announcer, soon to be the longtime PA announcer. He's going to be the voice, man, painting it all for us at the Kia Center. Can't wait to hear it. Can't wait to see you, man. Appreciate you just for a couple of moments of your time, and hopefully we can do this again soon, my brother.
Man, thank you so much for the opportunity and sharing your platform with me, man. Like I love what you're doing here, and again, I admire you because honestly, I've been wanting to start a podcast for like 5 years now, and I just haven't hit record or did what you did. So the fact that you're doing that, you're showing up, man, you're knocking it out the park, man. Just forever grateful for you for letting me share this platform with me. And honestly, if I could plug myself real quick, man, J Tribble PAA on YouTube and at Jarryd Tribble Official on Instagram and on TikTok, man. Fans, please connect with me. I love engaging with people. I'm in the works of doing some behind the scenes stuff, of a day in the life and what the prep looks like and some fan engagement stuff. So please follow me on those different platforms, man. But I'm so grateful that you gave me this opportunity to share my story and connect and talk Magic basketball, talk a little Kobe, and look forward to continue to connect one more time again.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you, my brother. Enjoy the rest of the summer, man. We'll be back at it before you know it.
Will do, man. Stay blessed by the best. You already know, man.
Absolutely.